I'm with Keith Marlin, investigator with the MPI Special Investigations Unit. And Keith, let's talk about this building first, because we're here at the compound on Plessy. What happens here?
Well, this is our burn garage where we examine burnt vehicles that are brought into Plessy's Road. We bring in all the vehicles from the greater Winnipeg area and surrounding areas into this compound. And I look at the fire claims. There's always a reason behind a fire, and then that's what we're here to determine.
All right, we've got looks to me like a brand new SUV, and there's some serious damage here. Let's talk about this vehicle and how it came to be here.
Well, the lady that owned this vehicle the vehicle's got less than 1,000 kilometers on it, so there's no reason for it to burn. First time she plugs this vehicle in, she goes into the workplace and summoned by security and informed that her vehicle is on fire. So as a result, we bring it into the garage, and through the normal course of our investigation, we try to determine the fire cause. And in this particular instance, I examine the vehicle and I determine that the seat of the fire was to the driver's side area, and I can determine that by the burn patterns in the vehicle. And when we do my conclusion and determine the fire cause, this particular vehicle has a block heater installed in a cavity located in the block. What had happened in this particular instance is that the retaining clips fell out, the block heater worked its way out and fell onto a combustible surface, and the first time this lady plugged it in, it ignited. And as a result, the vehicle's a total loss. This is a block heater that's typically installed or retained in the block with clips. The clips were missing, and the block heater was found outside the cavity where it shouldn't have been. And you can see by the melting and on the block heater itself that this was the source.
Now I'm looking down on the floor in front of the vehicle. It looks like what might be left of what was once some kind of bumper.
This was the grill area, the grill and the front bumper area, and you can see the extension cord that was used to plug in the block heater. Typically, when we're looking at burnt vehicles, and it may be a block heater issue, we're concentrating from the block heater cord, and it didn't show any damage other than collateral damage from the burn itself.
We have car owners who sort of get their own ideas. I wonder if it was my extension cord, or I wonder if it was my vehicle. Maybe I've got a 98 Ford Windstar that there have been some media reports they're prone to fire problems, but this is what you guys do here, kind of get to the bottom of it, look for the evidence and point to the facts.
That's right. The adjuster typically would obtain a statement from the owner, and we would analyze the statement given and the circumstances of the loss. We also have websites where we check on Canada Transport and National Transportation Safety Administration in the States, where they have vehicle recalls as a result of chronic problems.
Let's just look at this vehicle intensely here and what was left of the engine. I mean, it just looks like burnt toast, but how would have this, we look back and the windshield is shattered as well, and there's some damage. I'm kind of surprised maybe not more of the car hasn't been damaged by fire, or when you think of the gasoline here, I would think there'd be occasions where maybe the whole car might go.
There are, and certainly the fire department responded timely in this instance and was able to suppress the fire, but typically we see vehicles that are burnt from bumper to bumper. This particular vehicle slightly migrated the firewall area and intruded into the passenger compartment slightly, but as you can see, the vehicle is a total loss as a result. Just the engine fire alone would render this vehicle a total loss.
Now, we understand that fraud is a reality as well, and that while this may be deemed accidental, you'll probably see some fires that may point you in another direction, and of course it's in the interest of not only Manitoba Public Insurance, but of course ultimately ratepayers that you get to the bottom of that type of thing. Talk about those circumstances.
Well, the majority of the work that we do is fraud or fraud investigations involving cars. We're seeing a lot of vehicles that are and the typical scenario lately has been a vehicle breaks down at the side of a highway, usually in an isolated area. The owner leaves the vehicle overnight, and the next morning the vehicle is burnt. Either the owner reattends to the vehicle and there's just some black marks, or the police have towed it away. But those are flags for us when a vehicle experiences mechanical issues and is then found burnt.
Now, flags are one thing, but you have to get down to the specifics and differentiate between accidental and something that was started intentionally. How on earth do you do that? It sounds to me like a case for CSI.
Well, what we do is we try to, there are only certain ways a vehicle is going to start on fire, typically accidental, mechanical, incendiary, and so what we do when we do the examination is try to, if we can't be specific on the cause, is eliminate electrical cause. We could eliminate an electric or accidental cause. Mechanical issue we can perhaps eliminate. So when you start eliminating all the other issues, usually you end up with one cause, and that's incendiary.
What the police will often tell us too is a lot of crooks, they're not that smart.
Well, they all think they can get away with it, of course, but we look at, I have to remember, we look at every vehicle fire that's suspect and is flagged and sent for investigation. So we're looking at them, and we've been doing it a long time, and we can determine or have a good idea which fraud and what is legitimate.
Now, how busy a shop are you here? I mean, you're looking at, you said the greater Winnipeg area. There must be a lot of claims that come in.
Well, there's three investigators that do these examinations, and typically in a year, between the three of us, we're looking in excess of 200 to 300 claims.
And they're not done probably in one day either, not necessarily.
No, some of them can be quite extensive through interviews. There's witnesses on occasion that have to be interviewed. We interview the police. We, for the most part, the police refer claims to MPI because it's motor vehicle related. So we take it on, and if there's issues, we collaborate with the police. And so some of these investigations can get quite lengthy.
And of course, it always helps too when you get tips. Maybe someone will call in on the fraud tip line through MPI and give you kind of a head start or an indication of what something you might want to look at and might rule out but might pursue.
Absolutely. These tips are invaluable to us as an investigator. Tips come in on a claim and can narrow it down into where we should be looking at and who we should be looking at. So this being Fraud Awareness Month, we're trying to promote the use of the tips line and information coming through our tips.